Welcome, everyone. Before we get going, it's a fun idea if you let us know where you're listening from. Cheers. Please like and subscribe. Let's relax and start. The gymnasium buzzes with laughter and chatter. Faces I haven't seen in years surround me, each one triggering a flood of memories. I grip my glass tighter, scanning the room. Emily stands by the punch bowl, her radiant smile captivating everyone around her. She always knows how to work a crowd. I'm John, a lawyer in my mid-40s. My life, on the surface, is ideal. Emily and I have been married for 20 years. We have two kids, Sophie, 16, and Matt, 14. Our house is in a nice neighborhood, and I've built a solid career. We should be happy, but there's a distance between us I can't ignore. Emily catches my eye and waves me over. I weave through the crowd, greeting old classmates. Mike, my high school nemesis, steps into view. Just seeing his smug face brings back the torment of those days. But tonight, I'm determined to enjoy myself. John, over here! Emily's voice is light, cheerful. I join her, and she slips her arm through mine. She's always been the life of the party, and tonight is no exception. Having fun? I ask, trying to match her enthusiasm. Absolutely. It's great seeing everyone again. Her smile is dazzling, but there's something in her eyes I can't place. We make small talk, catching up with old friends. The evening seems ordinary, a pleasant trip down memory lane. But as the night wears on, I can't shake the feeling that something is off. Then it happens. Emily's laughter fills the air, louder than before. I turn and see her with Mike, their faces close, too close. My heart races, a knot forming in my stomach. John, you remember Mike, don't you? Emily's voice is too sweet, too casual. Of course, I say, my tone clipped. Mike grins, a predator scenting blood. Good to see you, John. I force a smile, but my eyes are on Emily. She's practically glowing and I don't like it. John, you were just fun. Emily's words hit me like a sledgehammer. I freeze, the room spinning around me. She leans in and kisses Mike, right there in front of everyone. Gasps ripple through the crowd. My hands clench into fists. Rage, humiliation, and a searing pain course through me. I can't breathe, can't think. Emily, what the hell are you doing? I manage to choke out. She pulls away from Mike, her eyes blazing. I never loved you in 20 years, John. You were just convenient. The room falls silent, all eyes on us. My world shatters. 20 years of marriage, of shared dreams and memories, reduced to a public spectacle. I can't control myself. I turn and storm out, leaving behind a stunned crowd and a wife who's just torn my heart out. The cool night air hits me, but it does nothing to calm the storm inside me. Everything seemed ordinary, but now, in the span of a few moments, my life has changed forever. And I know one thing for sure. I'm not going to let this slide. The drive home is a blur. My hands grip the steering wheel, knuckles white. Emily's words echo in my head, a relentless taunt. You were just convenient. Rage churns within me, raw and untamed. I can't believe the woman I devoted 20 years to could betray me like this. I slam the car door shut and march into the house. The emptiness of our home feels suffocating, mocking the life we built together. I head straight for our bedroom, needing to gather my thoughts. The bed we shared now feels like a lie, a mockery of our vows. I can't let this slide. I need to understand why she did this and how long it has been going on. My mind races with possibilities, each more infuriating than the last. I grab my phone and dial Emily's number. She doesn't answer. Typical. I throw the phone onto the bed, pacing the room. I need a plan. I need to know everything. An idea strikes me, hiring a private investigator. I need proof, solid evidence to confront her. I need to know every detail of her betrayal. The next morning, I call a private investigator, someone discreet and efficient. I explain the situation, my voice trembling with anger. He assures me he'll get to the bottom of it and asks for any details that could help. Days pass, each one an agonizing wait. I go through the motions at work, but my mind is elsewhere. I can't focus, Can't think of anything but Emily and Mike. The investigator finally calls, his voice steady and professional. John, I have some information. You might want to sit down. My heart pounds. What did you find? Your wife and Mike have been seeing each other for several months. They meet regularly, mostly at his place and occasionally at a hotel. I feel a mix of relief and fury. At least now I know. Do you have proof? Yes. Photos, videos, and some incriminating text messages. I thank him and hang up, staring at the evidence on my computer. Images of Emily and Mike, their intimate moments captured in stark detail. The betrayal is complete. I feel sick, but also determined. This is the leverage I need. That evening, I confront Emily when she comes home. She looks surprised to see me waiting in the living room. Her eyes flicker with guilt, but she tries to mask it. John, what's wrong? I throw the folder of evidence onto the coffee table. This is what's wrong. Emily's face pales as she opens the folder. She flips through the photos, her hands shaking. John, I can explain. Explain? You think there's an explanation for this? My voice rises, the anger boiling over. You betrayed me, Emily. For months, you've been lying to my face. She starts to cry, but I feel no sympathy. I never loved you, John. Our marriage was a mistake. Her words cut deep, but I steel myself. Then why stay with me all these years? Why pretend? For the kids, for the stability. But I can't do this anymore. I want a divorce. The finality of her words hits me hard. Fine, but don't think you're walking away with everything. I have evidence, Emily. You won't get away with this. The days that follow are a whirlwind of legal proceedings. Emily and I barely speak, communicating only through our lawyers. The kids sense the tension, but I can't bring myself to explain everything yet. I need to protect them from this mess. One evening, as I'm working late in my study, Sophie knocks on the door. Dad, can we talk? I look up, trying to muster a reassuring smile. Of course, sweetheart. What's on your mind? She sits down, her eyes filled with worry. Is it true? Are you and Mom getting a divorce? I sigh, my heart breaking for her. Yes, Sophie, but it's not your fault. Sometimes adults can't work things out, no matter how hard they try. Is it because of that man, Mike? Her question catches me off guard. How do you know about Mike? I saw Mom with him once. I didn't want to believe it. I reach out, taking her hand. I'm sorry you had to see that. But know that I love you and Matt very much. We're going to get through this. Sophie nods, tears streaming down her face. I hold her close, my resolve strengthening. I need to protect my kids and ensure they don't suffer because of Emily's betrayal. The private investigator calls again, this time with more damning evidence. He found financial discrepancies. Emily and Mike have been siphoning money from our joint accounts. I feel a new wave of rage. They not only betrayed me emotionally, but also financially. Armed with this new information, I meet with my lawyer. We plan our next move, preparing for a brutal court battle. I won't let Emily and Mike take everything from me. I won't let them win. The court dates loom closer, the tension building with each passing day. Emily and I avoid each other at home, the atmosphere thick with animosity. The kids stay mostly in their rooms, trying to escape the toxic environment. Finally, the day arrives. We face each other in the courtroom, our lawyers arguing back and forth. Emily tries to play the victim, but I remain calm, presenting the evidence methodically. The judge listens, his expression unreadable. During a recess, I step outside for some air. Mike approaches me, a smug grin on his face. You really think you can win this, John? I glare at him, my fists clenched. I'll do whatever it takes to protect my family. You're not going to win. He laughs, a cold, mocking sound. We'll see about that. The trial resumes, and the tension is palpable. Emily takes the stand, her lawyer trying to paint me as controlling and neglectful. I counter with the evidence of her affair and the financial fraud. The judge's eyes narrow as he examines the documents. The trial drags on, each day more exhausting than the last. I stay focused, determined to see this through. My lawyer assures me we have a strong case, but the uncertainty gnaws at me. One evening, after a particularly grueling day in court, I sit in my study, reviewing the case files. There's a knock on the door, and Emily walks in. Her face is pale, her eyes red from crying. "John, can we talk?" I look up, my anger simmering just below the surface. "What is it, Emily?" "I don't want to fight anymore. This is tearing us apart, and it's hurting the kids." Her words surprise me, but I remain cautious. "What are you suggesting?" "A settlement. Let's end this before it destroys us completely." I consider her offer, weighing the options. A settlement could spare the kids more pain, but I need to ensure it's fair. "Fine, but it has to be reasonable. No more lies, no more games." We sit down with our lawyers, hammering out the details. Emily agrees to my terms, giving me primary custody of the kids and a fair share of our assets. The relief is palpable, but the wounds of her betrayal still sting. As we finalize the settlement, Emily looks at me, her expression weary. "I'm sorry, John, for everything." I nod, not trusting myself to speak. The anger and hurt are still there, but I need to move forward for the sake of our children. The court formalizes our agreement, and the divorce is finalized. Emily moves out, leaving me and the kids to pick up the pieces. The house feels emptier, but also lighter, free from the constant tension. I focus on rebuilding my life, spending more time with Sophie and Matt. We take small steps, finding a new rhythm without Emily. The kids adjust slowly, and I make sure they know they are loved and supported. One night, as I tuck Matt into bed, he looks up at me, his eyes filled with questions. "Dad, will we be okay?" I smile, ruffling his hair. "Yes, Matt, we'll be okay. We'll get through this together." He nods, comforted by my words. I leave his room, feeling a sense of hope for the first time in months. The journey has been painful, but we're moving forward. I take a deep breath, standing at the window and looking out at the night sky. The future is uncertain, but I know one thing for sure. I won't let Emily's betrayal define me. I'll rebuild, stronger and wiser. As I prepare for bed, my phone buzzes with a message. It's from the private investigator. He found something new, something that could turn everything on its head. My heart races as I read his words, a mix of anticipation and dread. Tomorrow, I meet with him to uncover this new piece of the puzzle. The battle isn't over yet, but I'm ready for whatever comes next. I sit across from the private investigator, James, in his small office. The air is thick with anticipation. He lays out a folder, and my pulse quickens. "John, what I found is significant," James says, his voice low. I nod, urging him to continue. "What did you uncover?" He opens the folder, revealing documents and photos. Emily and Mike have been involved in more than just an affair. They're part of a money laundering scheme. My mind races. Money laundering? How? James points to the documents. "Emily funneled money from your accounts into shell companies Mike set up. They've been laundering the money through various businesses." I feel a mix of anger and disbelief. "How much money are we talking about?" "Thousands, possibly hundreds of thousands. I'm still tracing the exact amounts, but it's substantial." I grip the edge of the desk. "This changes everything." James nods. "It does. We need to act fast." I leave his office with a renewed sense of purpose. Emily and Mike's betrayal goes deeper than I imagined. I contact my lawyer, Greg, and update him on the new information. He agrees that we need to take immediate action. The next few days are a whirlwind. Greg and I work tirelessly to compile the evidence and build our case. The tension is palpable, but I'm fueled by the need to protect my children and reclaim my life. One evening, I sit in my study, reviewing the documents James provided. The house is quiet, the kids asleep. My phone buzzes, and I see a message from Emily. She wants to talk. I hesitate, then decide to meet her. We agree to meet at a nearby cafe. I arrive first, my mind racing with questions and accusations. Emily walks in looking nervous, She sits across from me, avoiding my gaze. "John, I'm sorry," she begins, her voice trembling. I cut her off. "Sorry isn't enough, Emily. You've done more than just cheat on me. You've stolen from me, from our family." Her eyes widen. "What are you talking about?" "I know about the money laundering. I know everything." She pales, her hands shaking. "John, Save it. We're going to court. This isn't just about our divorce anymore. You and Mike are going to pay for what you've done." Emily's face crumples, but I feel no sympathy. I stand and leave, my resolve stronger than ever. The next day, Greg and I file the new charges. The legal battle intensifies, the stakes higher than before. In the courtroom, Emily and Mike sit with their lawyers, looking tense. The judge listens intently as Greg presents our case. The evidence is damning, and I can see the impact it has on Emily. She looks defeated, but I can't afford to let my guard down. The trial drags on, each day more exhausting than the last. Emily's lawyer tries to discredit the evidence, but Greg counters every move. The tension builds, the courtroom filled with an electric anticipation. One afternoon, during a recess, I step outside for some air. Mike approaches me, his expression defiant. "Still think you can win this, John?" he sneers. I glare at him. "I know I can." "You're going down, Mike." He laughs, a cold, mirthless sound. "We'll see about that." The trial resumes, and the pressure mounts. I testify, detailing the betrayal and financial fraud. Emily's lawyer tries to rattle me, but I stay focused, determined to see this through. As the trial reaches its climax, the judge calls for a final recess. The courtroom buzzes with speculation. I sit with Greg, going over our strategy one last time. I feel a mix of exhaustion and anticipation. Back in the courtroom, the judge delivers his verdict. Emily and Mike are found guilty of financial fraud and ordered to pay restitution. Emily is also stripped of any claim to our assets, and I'm granted full custody of the kids. The relief is overwhelming. I feel a weight lift off my shoulders. Emily breaks down in tears, but I feel no pity. Mike glares at me, his defeat palpable. The days that follow are a blur of paperwork and legal formalities. Emily moves out, and the house feels strangely peaceful. The kids adjust slowly, and I do my best to support them through the transition. One evening, I sit with Sophie and Matt in the living room. We watch a movie, the first time we've felt like a family in weeks. The tension is eased, replaced by a tentative sense of normalcy. Sophie leans against me. "Dad, are we going to be okay?" I smile, wrapping my arm around her. "Yes, Sophie, we're going to be fine." Matt chimes in, his voice hesitant. "What about Mom?" I sigh, choosing my words carefully. "Your mom made some bad choices. She's paying for them now, but we're going to move forward and focus on us." The kids nod, seeming to accept this. I feel a glimmer of hope, the first real sign that we're on the path to healing. Weeks pass, and life slowly begins to stabilize. I focus on my work, finding solace in the routine. The kids settle into their new normal, and we start to rebuild our lives. One day, I receive a call from James. He's found more evidence, this time linking Mike to a larger criminal network. I feel a renewed sense of purpose. This isn't over yet. I meet with James, and we discuss the implications. If we can expose this network, we can ensure Mike faces even more severe consequences. I'm determined to see this through, not just for myself, but for my kids. The next phase of the battle begins. I work with James to gather more evidence, uncovering a web of deceit and crime. The tension builds, but I feel stronger, more resolved. As we prepare for the next round of legal action, I reflect on how far I've come. The betrayal and pain have been devastating, but I've found a strength I didn't know I had. I'm determined to protect my family and ensure justice is served. One evening, as I sit in my study, I receive a message from an unknown number. It's a threat, clearly from someone connected to Mike's criminal network. My heart races, but I refuse to be intimidated. I forward the message to James and Greg, knowing we need to stay vigilant. The tension is palpable, but I feel a sense of purpose. This fight isn't over, but I'm ready for whatever comes next. I won't let Emily and Mike's betrayal define me. I'll rebuild stronger and wiser for myself and my children. As I prepare for bed, I look at the photo of Sophie and Matt on my nightstand. They are my reason for fighting, my motivation to keep going. I know the road ahead will be tough, but I'm ready. We're ready. I sit in my study, the glow of the computer screen casting eerie shadows on the walls. James's new findings on Mike's criminal network are spread out before me. My mind races as I piece together the implications. This is bigger than I thought and more dangerous. I pick up the phone and call Greg. We need to move on this quickly. Mike's deeper into this than we realized. Greg's voice is steady. I'm on it, John. We'll gather everything we need and present it to the authorities. Stay vigilant. I hang up and lean back in my chair, trying to steady my breathing. The threat message from Mike's associates is fresh in my mind. They want to intimidate me, but I won't back down. I need to protect my family. The next morning, I meet with James at a secluded cafe. We discuss the plan, going over every detail. He hands me a USB drive. This contains all the evidence. We need to get it to the FBI. I nod, pocketing the drive. I'll handle it, thanks, James. Leaving the cafe, I feel a mix of determination and anxiety. I drive to the FBI office, my heart pounding. Inside, I meet with Agent Carter, a seasoned investigator. Mr. Thompson, we've been looking into Mike's activities for a while. Your evidence could be the breakthrough we need. I hand over the USB drive. I want him and his network taken down. They've ruined too many lives. Agent Carter nods. We'll take it from here. Stay alert, Mr. Thompson. Things might get rough. I return home, the weight of the situation pressing on me. The kids are at school and the house feels eerily quiet. I sit in the living room, staring at the family photos on the wall. This fight is about more than just me. It's about protecting them. That night, as I'm getting ready for bed, my phone buzzes with a new message. It's another threat, this time more explicit. My hands tremble, but I refuse to show fear. I forward the message to Agent Carter and Greg, knowing they need to be aware. The next day, I receive a call from Agent Carter. John, we've made progress. We're moving in on Mike's network. Stay safe and keep a low profile. I thank him and hang up, feeling a surge of hope. The walls are closing in on Mike, and it's only a matter of time. But the danger isn't over yet. As I leave the office that evening, I notice a black SUV trailing me. My pulse quickens. I take a few detours, trying to lose them. After several tense minutes, the SUV disappears. I breathe a sigh of relief, but my nerves are frayed. At home, I install extra security measures, ensuring every window and door is secure. I check on the kids, finding comfort in their peaceful faces. I can't let anything happen to them. The next morning, I wake to find my car's tires slashed. A clear message from Mike's associates. I call the police and file a report, but I know this won't stop them. I need to stay one step ahead. Greg calls later that day with updates on the legal front. The court date is set for next week. We've got a strong case, but be prepared for anything. I thank him and hang up, feeling the tension mount. The trial will be the culmination of everything I've fought for. I need to be ready. The week passes in a blur of preparations. I review our evidence, work with Greg on our strategy, and stay vigilant against any threats. The pressure is immense, but I feel a steely resolve. Finally, the day of the trial arrives. The courtroom is packed, the air thick with anticipation. Emily sits with her lawyer, looking pale and defeated. Mike is nowhere to be seen, likely trying to evade the law. I take the stand, my heart pounding. Greg questions me, guiding me through the testimony. I recount the betrayal, the financial fraud, and the criminal activities. The jury listens intently, and I can see the impact of my words. Emily's lawyer tries to discredit me, but Greg is quick to counter every argument. The tension in the room is palpable, each word charged with significance. As the trial progresses, we present the evidence against Mike's network. The judge's expression grows more severe with each revelation. The weight of the crimes is undeniable. During a recess, I step outside for some air. My phone buzzes with a call from James. "John, Mike's been spotted. The FBI is closing in." Relief floods through me. "Thanks, James. Keep me posted." I return to the courtroom, feeling a renewed sense of determination. This is the final push. I sit with Greg, going over the remaining points. The trial resumes, and the prosecution presents its final arguments. The jury deliberates, the minutes stretching into hours. Finally, they return with a verdict. Emily and Mike are found guilty on all counts. The judge sentences Emily to a reduced sentence due to her cooperation, but Mike faces a harsher penalty. His criminal network is dismantled, and justice is served. The relief is overwhelming. I feel a weight lift off my shoulders as I step out of the courtroom. Emily avoids my gaze, but I feel no pity for her. She made her choices, and now she must face the consequences. Outside, I meet with Agent Carter. "We got him, John. Mike's network is done." I nod, gratitude and exhaustion mingling. "Thank you, Agent Carter. This means everything." I return home, feeling a sense of closure. The house feels different, lighter. I gather the kids in the living room, their faces curious and anxious. "Sophie, Matt, it's over. Mike and his network are gone. We're safe." They hug me, relief and joy evident in their expressions. We sit together, the weight of the past few months lifting. I feel a renewed sense of hope for the future. That night, I sleep deeply for the first time in months. The nightmares of betrayal and danger fade, replaced by dreams of a brighter future. I wake feeling rested and determined to move forward. The next morning, I start making plans. I want to rebuild our lives, focus on the future. I meet with a financial advisor to ensure everything is in order and start looking into new opportunities for my career. Weeks pass and life begins to stabilize. The kids adjust to their new normal, and I find joy in the small moments we share. The threat of Mike and his network is gone, and I feel a sense of peace. One evening, as I sit in my study, reflecting on everything that's happened, I receive a call from James. "John, there's something you need to know. Another layer to Mike's network has surfaced." My heart races. "What do you mean?" "It's more extensive than we thought. We need to stay vigilant." I thank him and hang up, feeling a mix of dread and determination. This fight isn't over yet, but I'm ready. I won't let my guard down. I'll protect my family no matter what. The next phase of the battle looms, but I feel stronger, more resolved. I've faced betrayal and danger, but I've come out stronger. I'm ready for whatever comes next, determined to protect my family and rebuild our lives. As I prepare for bed, I look at the photo of Sophie and Matt on my nightstand. They're my reason for fighting, my motivation to keep going. I know the road ahead will be tough, but I'm ready. We're ready. I wake up early, a sense of resolve settling over me. The battle isn't completely over, but we've won a significant victory. Mike's network is dismantled, and Emily is out of our lives. Today, I focus on rebuilding. The kids are still asleep as I head downstairs. I make a pot of coffee, the aroma filling the kitchen. Sitting at the table, I reflect on the past months. The betrayal, the legal battles, the threats, it's all behind us now. I feel a strange mix of exhaustion and relief. The doorbell rings, interrupting my thoughts. It's James, the private investigator, looking more relaxed than I've seen him in weeks. "Morning, John. How are you holding up?" "Better, thanks to you. Come in, have some coffee." We sit in the kitchen, sipping our coffee. James updates me on the latest developments. The FBI is wrapping up their investigation. Mike's network is completely dismantled. They found new evidence that should ensure he won't see the outside of a prison cell for a long time. I nod, feeling a weight lift off my shoulders. That's good to hear. What about Emily? She's cooperating with the authorities. Her sentence will be reduced, but she'll still serve time. I feel a pang of mixed emotions. Emily's betrayal was devastating, but I hope she finds some form of redemption. Thanks, James. I couldn't have done this without you. James smiles. Just doing my job. Take care of yourself, John, and those kids. As he leaves, I feel a sense of closure. The immediate danger is gone, and it's time to focus on the future. I wake the kids, and we sit down for breakfast together. There's a new lightness in the air, a sense of normalcy returning. After breakfast, I take Sophie and Matt to the park. We spend the day playing, laughing, and enjoying each other's company. It's a small step towards healing, but it feels significant. I watch them, filled with a renewed sense of purpose. This is why I fought so hard. Back home, I start making plans for the future. I call my financial advisor to discuss our next steps. We go over the details, ensuring everything is secure. I want to make sure the kids have everything they need. That evening, as I'm reviewing some documents, I get a call from Greg. John, we need to discuss the finalization of the settlement. We arrange a meeting for the next day. The settlement is straightforward, but I want to ensure every detail is in place. This is the last step in closing this chapter of my life. At the meeting, Greg and I go over the final details. Emily's assets are divided, and the custody arrangements are confirmed. I sign the papers, feeling a sense of finality. It's over. Leaving the lawyer's office, I take a deep breath. The legal battles are behind me. Now, it's time to focus on rebuilding and moving forward. I head home, feeling a sense of peace I haven't felt in months. That night, I sit with the kids, watching a movie. We laugh and enjoy the simple pleasure of being together. The tension of the past months begins to fade, replaced by hope for the future. Over the next few weeks, we settle into a new routine. The kids adjust to their new normal, and I focus on my work and family. I start seeing a therapist, working through the trauma and betrayal. It's a slow process, but it feels good to talk to someone. One afternoon, I get a call from an old friend, Sarah. We've known each other for years, but we lost touch. She heard about everything and wanted to check in. John, I'm so sorry about everything. How are you holding up? I smile, feeling a warmth spread through me. Better, Sarah. Thanks for calling. It means a lot. We catch up, and it feels good to reconnect. She suggests meeting for coffee, and I agree. It's time to start rebuilding my social life, too. Meeting Sarah is a breath of fresh air. We talk for hours, reminiscing and catching up. She's been through her own challenges, and we find comfort in sharing our stories. There's a spark between us, something I haven't felt in a long time. As we say goodbye, she gives me a hug. Take care, John. Let's do this again soon. I drive home, a smile on my face. Reconnecting with friends, focusing on the kids, and rebuilding my life. It all feels right. The future is uncertain, but for the first time in a long time, I feel hopeful. The next few months pass in a blur of activity. I focus on my work, throwing myself into new projects. The kids thrive, their laughter filling the house. We take small trips, make new memories, and enjoy the simple pleasures of life. One evening, I sit in my study, looking over some photos from our recent trip. The kids' smiles are genuine, their happiness infectious. I feel a sense of accomplishment. We've come a long way. I get a call from James. John, just wanted to check in. How are things? Good, James. Really good. Thanks for everything. He chuckles. Glad to hear it. Take care, John. I hang up, feeling a sense of closure. The battle is over, and we've come out stronger. I look at the photos again, feeling a deep sense of satisfaction. As the days turn into weeks, we settle into our new life. The kids are doing well in school, and I find joy in my work and family. I continue seeing Sarah, our connection growing stronger. She's been a source of support and happiness, and I feel grateful for her presence in my life. One evening, as we're having dinner, Sophie looks at me. Dad, are we going to be okay? I smile, reaching out to take her hand. Yes, Sophie, we're going to be more than okay. We're going to thrive. Matt chimes in, his voice filled with hope. Yeah, Dad, we've got this. I feel a sense of pride and joy. We've been through so much, but we've come out stronger. The future is bright, and I'm ready to embrace it. That night, I sit in my study reflecting on everything. The journey has been long and painful, but we've made it. I look at the photo of Sophie and Matt on my desk, their smiles a reminder of why I fought so hard. I close my eyes, feeling a sense of peace. The battle is over, and we've emerged victorious. The future is ours to build, and I'm ready for whatever comes next. As I prepare for bed, I feel a renewed sense of purpose. The past is behind us, and the future is filled with possibilities. We're ready to move forward, stronger and wiser. This is the beginning of a new chapter, and I'm excited to see where it takes us. I tuck the kids into bed, feeling a deep sense of love and pride. We've been through so much, but we've come out stronger. The future is bright, and I'm ready to embrace it. As I turn off the lights, I whisper a silent promise to myself and my children. We will thrive. The courtroom is silent as the judge enters. I sit at the plaintiff's table, my heart pounding. This is it, the final confrontation. Emily sits across from me, her face pale. Her lawyer whispers something to her, but she just nods, staring at the table. The judge calls the court to order, and we begin. Greg, my lawyer, stands up, presenting our final arguments. The tension is thick. I glance at Emily, trying to read her expression. She looks broken, but I can't afford to feel pity. This is about justice. Greg presents our case with precision, detailing Emily's betrayal, the financial fraud, and the danger she brought into our lives. The evidence is irrefutable. Emily's lawyer tries to discredit me, but Greg counters every point. The judge listens intently, his expression unreadable. Then it's Emily's turn to testify. She stands up, her voice trembling. I made mistakes, she admits, her eyes brimming with tears. I was unhappy and made terrible choices. I'm sorry for the pain I caused. Her words hit me like a punch to the gut. Part of me wants to believe her, to forgive, but the betrayal runs too deep. The judge asks her a few questions, and she answers honestly, her voice barely above a whisper. Finally, it's my turn. I stand, my hands trembling slightly. Greg guides me through the testimony, and I recount everything, finding out about the affair, discovering the financial fraud, the threats from Mike's associates. I speak clearly, my voice steady. This is my chance to tell my side of the story. The courtroom is silent as I finish. The judge takes a moment before speaking. I have reviewed the evidence and testimonies. The actions taken by both parties have caused significant harm. However, the evidence against Mrs. Thompson is clear. I rule in favor of the plaintiff. Mrs. Thompson, you are to pay restitution and are sentenced to serve time for financial fraud. Emily breaks down in tears, but I feel no relief, only a profound sense of finality. It's over. The judge continues, detailing the consequences and custody arrangements. I'm granted full custody of the kids, and Emily's visitation rights are limited. As we leave the courtroom, Greg puts a hand on my shoulder. You did well, John. This is a step forward. I nod, trying to process everything. The legal battle is over, but the emotional wounds are still raw. I drive home, the weight of the past few months pressing down on me. The kids are waiting, their faces anxious. Sophie, Matt, I say, gathering them close. It's over. We can start to heal now. They hug me tightly, and I feel a glimmer of hope. We've been through so much, but we're still standing. I vow to protect them and rebuild our lives. The next few weeks are a blur of adjusting to our new normal. Emily's absence is felt, but it's also a relief. The house is calmer, the tension gone. I focus on the kids, ensuring they feel loved and secure. One evening, Sarah comes over. We sit in the living room, talking about everything that's happened. Her presence is a comfort, a reminder that I'm not alone. How are you holding up? She asks, her eyes full of concern. Better, I admit. It's been tough, but we're getting through it. She takes my hand, squeezing it gently. You're doing great, John. The kids are lucky to have you. I feel a warmth spread through me. Sarah has been a constant support, and I'm grateful for her presence. We sit in comfortable silence, the future feeling a little less daunting. As the weeks turn into months, life begins to stabilize. The kids adjust to their new routine, and I focus on my work and their well-being. I continue seeing my therapist, working through the lingering pain and betrayal. It's a slow process, but each session helps. Sarah and I grow closer, our bond deepening. She's been a rock, and I start to imagine a future with her. One evening, as we're sitting on the porch, I turn to her. "Sarah, I don't know where I'd be without you." She smiles, her eyes shining. "You're stronger than you think, John. You've come so far." I take her hand, feeling a sense of peace. "I want us to move forward together. You've been my anchor through all this." Her smile widens, and she leans in, kissing me gently. "I'd like that." We sit together, the future feeling brighter. I know there will be challenges, but I'm ready to face them with Sarah by my side. The kids thrive, their laughter filling the house. We take trips, make new memories, and enjoy the simple pleasures of life. The scars of the past are still there, but they're healing. I focus on the present, finding joy in the moments with my family. One day I get a call from the FBI. "Mr. Thompson, we wanted to inform you that Mike has been sentenced. His network is dismantled, and he won't be a threat to you or your family." I think feeling a sense of closure. The danger is truly behind us. I share the news with Sarah and the kids. We celebrate, the relief palpable. As I sit on the porch that evening watching the sunset, I betrayal, the legal battles, the threats, they're all part of the past. We've come out stronger, more resilient. I turn to Sarah, who's sitting beside me. "We did it. We made it through." She smiles, her eyes filled with love. "Yes, we did. Ready to face it. We've built a new life, and it's one filled with hope and possibility. The scars of the past are fading, replaced by a sense of peace and contentment. As the days turn into weeks, we continue to build our new life. The kids excel in school, their laughter a constant source of joy. Sarah and I grow closer, our bond deepening with each passing day. We talk about the future, making plans and dreaming together. One evening as we're having dinner, Sophie looks at me. "Dad, are we really going to be okay?" I'm reaching out to take her hand. "Yes, Sophie, we're going to be more than okay. We're going to thrive." Matt nods. "Dad, we've got this." I feel a sense of pride and joy. We've been through so much, but we've come out stronger. The future is bright, and I'm ready to embrace it. That night, as I sit in my study, I look at the photo of Sophie and Matt on my desk. Their smiles are a reminder of why I fought hard. The journey has been long and painful, but we've made it. We're ready for whatever comes next. As a renewed sense of purpose, the past is behind us, and the future is filled with possibilities. We're ready to move forward stronger and wiser. This is the beginning of a new chapter, and I'm excited to see where it takes us. I tuck the kids into bed, feeling a deep sense of love and pride. We've been through so much, but we've come out stronger. The future is bright, and I'm ready to embrace it. As I turn off the lights, I whisper a silent promise to myself and my children. We will thrive. The courtroom is silent as the judge delivers his final words. Emily stands next to her lawyer, her shoulders slumped in defeat. The judge's gavel falls, and it's officially over. Emily is sentenced to 5 years for her part in the financial fraud, with the possibility of parole after 3 for good behavior. The restitution is also mandated, ensuring the stolen money is returned to the family accounts. I walk out of the courtroom, the weight of the past year lifting off my shoulders. Greg is by my side, offering a reassuring pat on the back. "You did it, John. It's finally over." I nod, feeling a mixture of relief and exhaustion. "Thanks, Greg. I couldn't have done this without you." We part ways, and I head home. The sun is setting as I drive, casting a golden glow over the city. I think about the journey we've been through, the betrayal, the threats, the relentless fight for justice. It's been a harrowing ordeal, but we've come out stronger. When I get home, the kids are waiting for me. Sophie runs up and hugs me tightly. "Dad, is it really over?" I nod, holding her close. "Yes, sweetheart, it's over. We're safe now." Matt joins the embrace, and I feel a surge of pride and love for my children. We've been through so much, but we're still standing, still a family. That evening, Sarah comes over to celebrate with us. We sit in the living room, sharing stories and laughter. The tension that once filled the house is gone, replaced by a sense of peace and hope. "John, you've been incredible through all of this," Sarah says, her eyes shining with admiration. "I'm so proud of you." I take her hand, feeling a deep connection. "Thank you, Sarah. I couldn't have done it without you." She smiles, leaning in to kiss me softly. The moment is intimate, filled with promise. We've come a long way, and our future looks bright. Over the next few weeks, we settle into our new normal. The kids adjust well, their laughter filling the house. I focus on my work, finding joy in the routine. Sarah and I grow closer, our bond deepening with each passing day. One afternoon, as I'm working in my study, Sarah comes in with a smile. "I have something for you." She hands me a small box. I open it to find a key. "What's this?" I ask, puzzled. "It's the key to my place. I want you and the kids to move in with me," she says, her eyes hopeful. "We've talked about it, and I think we're ready for this next step." I'm taken aback, but in a good way. Moving in together is a big step, but it feels right. "Are you sure?" She nods, taking my hand. "Yes, I love you, John, and I love Sophie and Matt. I want us to be a family." Emotion wells up in me. "I love you too, Sarah. Let's do it." We spend the next few days packing and preparing for the move. The kids are excited, eager for the change. Sarah's place is spacious and welcoming, and it quickly feels like home. As we settle into our new life, I feel a sense of completeness. The kids thrive, their happiness contagious. Sarah and I find joy in the little moments, building a life filled with love and laughter. One evening, as we're having dinner, Sophie looks at me with a smile. "Dad, are we really going to be okay?" I reach out and take her hand, my heart swelling with pride and love. "Yes, Sophie, we're more than okay. We're a family." Matt nods, his eyes bright. "Yeah, Dad, we've got this." I smile, feeling a sense of peace. We've been through so much, but we've come out stronger. The future is bright, and I'm ready to embrace it. As I sit on the porch that night, watching the stars with Sarah by my side, I reflect on everything we've been through. The pain and betrayal, the fight for justice, the healing and new beginnings. It's been a long journey, but we're here. We're stronger and wiser, ready for whatever comes next. I turn to Sarah, feeling a deep sense of contentment. We did it. We made it through. She smiles, her eyes filled with love. Yes, we did. The future is uncertain, but I feel ready to face it. We've built a new life, and it's one filled with hope and possibility. The scars of the past are fading, replaced by a sense of peace and contentment. As the days turn into weeks, we continue to build our new life. The kids excel in school, their laughter a constant source of joy. Sarah and I grow closer, our bond deepening with each passing day. We talk about the future, making plans and dreaming together. The future is ours to build, and I'm ready for whatever comes next. This is the beginning of a new chapter, and I'm excited to see where it takes us. We will thrive,